here at the ignITe Hub. Welcome back. I see some familiar faces, so that always makes me smile to see the community come back to the hub and participate with us. As I was saying, the ignITE Hub is brand new here in the county. This is a county initiative. And we are the newest space in the county that provides a collaborative space to spark innovation and collaboration here in Montgomery County. Our two focus areas are tech and entrepreneurship. And we have 4 programming areas: high-tech learning, careers, business and entrepreneurship, innovation, and community education. So today's session, the Future of Tech Lunch and Learn, is part of our community education programming area. Today is also a very special day. The hub has generously been received donations from the Verizon Foundation. So they are the sponsors of our speaker series, of our Future of Tech Lunch and Learn and our Fireside Chat Career Series. So we have a representative here today. We have Mario Acosta Velez, who's here to share some words for us from our generous donors. Please come.
Yes, it's good afternoon.
Yeah, it's good afternoon. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for inviting us to be a part of this today. Mario Costa Velez with Verizon here in East region, managing a lot of our community engagement and partnerships and community investments. And we are very proud to be a supporter of this. We learned about this particular program, what it does to help not only promote and technology and expectation, but also have pretty conversations about technology in the future. This was a great event, a great program to support, and we are happy to be a part of it and to through our support enable the conversations and the learning, the information sharing, the best practices, and all of the things that are happening as part of this series. And I wanted to stop by today to say a few words. Thank you for the opportunity and to share that as a company that you know, Verizon is a global leader in technology and innovation. And we have a strong presence in the state of Maryland, here in Montgomery County, where we are continuously engaging with residents, things like this, to engage in conversations about the importance of advanced technologies and the impact that embracement that advanced technologies can have in the future of the county, the future of the state, of course, the future of the country. And we are a company, as we say, we build the future. Through the use of technology, we are moving communities forward. And this is one example in which we are supporting products of these, partnering with the Montgomery College and many other organizations to enable not only greater knowledge about the advanced technology, but also how you can use it to innovate, to create, and to move our communities forward. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I look forward to the presentation today and to all of the series that are happening in all the conversations. But more importantly, I want to be able to see towards the end of this series the experiences of the participants and how this program is really connecting you to innovate. Think about how we use technology to solve problems in our county, in our region, and we are extremely proud to be part of this process.
Thank you, Mario. And I have for you, we are also proud that you sponsor us. So here is a token of our appreciation for you. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Look forward to the presentation today.
Thank you for those inspiring words, Mario. We're so glad to have your sponsorship at the hub. So we are moving on in our agenda, just few housekeeping activities. So we're going to hear our presentation first. We have our speaker here, Jabari Jackson. After we finish, we have lunch that, thank you to Verizon, is provided across the hall, and we have salads and sandwiches. They're boxed, so if you can't stay, you're welcome to take it with you to your next destination. Okay, without any further ado, I'd like to introduce our speaker, Mr. Jabari Jackson. He is the manager of Salesforce Administrators at Enterprise Community Partners. Which is a nonprofit organization advocating for and building affordable homes across the nation. He also spends time as a technology consultant with MKG Enterprises, helping businesses and nonprofits achieve their technology goals. Jabari has close to a decade of experience working specifically with nonprofits, supporting their technology and building CRM systems. Jabari seeks to help organizations build sustainable, efficient technology environments at a low cost. Jabari is inspired daily by his wife and son. In his free time, he likes to read, hike, garden, and play cornhole. Jabari, I'm so glad that you're here. I know that we previously met, and I'm excited to have you here in our spring series to share and impart your wisdom for the community about CRMs. I look forward to your presentation. I'm handing it over to you.
Hey, yeah, I'm so excited to be here. I met Kimberly late last year and was just excited to get connected with the community here at the ignITe Hub. And I was able to listen to a few of the speakers from last year. So I've been looking forward to this day for a while. I just wanted to thank Kimberly for even creating this, working to create this community of technology professionals and people aspiring to be in technology. I've met people in this community, and I'm just looking forward to the rest of the year. We have a whole lineup of speakers, so a lot of exciting things. So what I wanted to start with actually, and whenever I speak, I like to do this, is give a gauge of the room. So if you have your phones with you, what you can do, and are we able to share it on the screen? You can go to menti.com, and you can use the code that's going to show here at the top of the screen, 52978754. And I just like to gauge the room. How is everyone feeling today? Because we have to always take a moment to have that time with ourselves. And if you haven't had a chance yet today, we can do it now. But I just want to gauge the room, see how everyone's doing. You can type a thing up to 3 responses. Give a moment to let someone respond to something. 52978754 is the code at menti.com. All right, it's working. Hungry, excited, relaxed, eager, okay. Enthusiastic. Right, optimistic. These are all great feelings for the beginning of the presentation. People that want to learn. Tired, that's all right. It's almost Friday. Okay. Proud, okay, so give more responses. Okay. All right, and if we can hit the next question on this little poll here. When you hear the word, I think you have the forward arrow. Yeah, there we go. So when you hear the word CRM or the term CRM, what comes to mind? First thing that comes to mind when you hear CRM.
Salesforce.
Well, so you can type it into the and we're gonna poll everyone, but yeah, if you're in the room, feel free to shout it out. Customer
service.
relationship, Salesforce, acronym, system. Great. I might not have to present today. These are all good responses. Alphabet. Very also true responses. sometimes before you know what CRM is, just out with it, so. Okay, that's great. Yeah, great responses, everyone. Thanks so much for participating. So we get some engagement, everyone getting the gears flowing a bit, we get started. All right, thanks so much. Okay, so very quickly, just a few objectives for today. What we want to accomplish, we're going to learn what CRM is. We're going to learn how CRM can grow my business or organization. We're going to learn how CRM will impact our future. And we're going to learn how CRM can help me personally, if I'm a student, if I'm a person in the technology, wanting to get a job in technology, there's something for everyone here. So first, I'd like for everyone to consider the bonsai tree. Now, if you've never seen or been around a bonsai tree, it's pretty much a miniature full-size tree. And this photo is actually from the National Arboretum in DC. My wife and I, we love visiting botanical gardens and arboretums, and they actually have it's all free. They have a section dedicated to bonsai. And so there's probably 50 different species, varieties of these trees. But I just wanted to share a few notes about bonsai. Placement of the tree, whether you put it indoors or outdoors, depends on the species. How often the tree needs to be watered depends on several factors, as the species of the tree, the size of the tree, the size of the pot, the time of year, the soil mixture, the climate. You have to regularly prune and wire the bonsai. When starting it from a seed, it can take up to 5 years to even see anything that resembles a tree. So, seed growth with a bonsai tree, you need to know what type of tree you're working with. And you also need to know how to care for that tree specifically to nurture it to grow. And we can think about CRM in a similar way. So what is CRM? At its definition, CRM is customer relationship management. There we go. Customer relationship management. And basically, you can flip it, managing a relationship with our customer. In the same with people-to-people relationships, or relationships to grow and work, you have to learn about the person you're in the relationship with. And with CRM, the goal is to collect meaningful data about our customers so that we can make informed decisions using our data. So the data is now driving our decisions in our business, and we're not just guessing on what works well for the people we're working with or selling to. So consider scenario one. And I think, did I try the mouse? Okay. Okay, consider this scenario. So the business from the top, we'll call them Blockbuster, if anyone remembers what that is. But the Blockbuster on the top does not use a CRM. So every Friday night, imagine sitting at the cash register, and every Friday night for the last 3 months, 50 comedy movies have been rented. And you're sitting at the cash register and you're like, wow, everyone loves comedies on a Friday night. These movies are just flying out the door. Now, in this scenario, you're going to see a more linear action, because it's just transactions coming in and I'm not analyzing or working with the data. I don't have a way to. But with the Blockbuster on the bottom, we have a CRM in place. And so when that same occurrence happens, we have all this influx of comedy DVDs, movies being rented. Now I can take a look at my data and my report after the first month. I might say, let me rearrange my inventory so I can put the comedies to the front of the store. So everyone that loves these comedies, they can have better access to them. After the second month, I might say, let's add some marketing. Let's put some posters out in front so people outside know that these comedies are here, since it seems like everyone loves these comedies. After the third month of seeing this growth in or influx in transactions, I might decide to create some coupons and maybe a 2-for-1 deal where I can start to move some of my other inventory. So the difference with the Blockbuster on the bottom is that the CRM is helping us to use our data to make decisions about how we operate and grow the business. So we're no longer guessing and hoping that people show up. We know they're going to show up because we know people love the comedies. We can look at our past data and see that information. Now, at a very basic level, I'm not doing that. Okay, at a very basic level, a CRM is for managing your contacts. So whether it's an Excel spreadsheet, a notebook, Rolodex, I need to know the phone numbers and emails of the people that I'm working with so that we continue to do business together. So you can store all of your phone numbers, email, address information about the people that you work with in your CRM. But what a lot of CRMs do nowadays is takes it to the next step and okay. So now you can use your CRM to also manage your past interactions with the people you've worked with, manage the tasks you need to do with the people you're currently working with, and also manage the meetings or interactions that you plan to have in the future. So now, rather than just being a reference for data about your customers, it's now a tool that's working alongside you, helping you to be more efficient and productive throughout the day. So let me show you what I mean in another scenario. So, okay, so in this scenario, you can imagine the client that we actually worked with a few years ago. It's a nonprofit, and they work to help immigrants moving to actually the Howard County area to settle in, to find housing, find different resources that they need. So we helped them set up Salesforce to manage the people that they were serving. So what we tried to help them do was to create a profile for each person that they're serving so they can better understand each person. So as people interacted with the org, they might go through the form to qualify for rental assistance. So now we plug that onto their profile in Salesforce. Or I didn't open up Salesforce yet, but it's CRM. But if they consulted with a legal aid, then we would plug that into the CRM. If they received healthcare, we would add that. If they were meeting with animation. And let's say they were meeting with a social worker the next week, we would plug that into the system as well. So two things are happening. One, we are creating a profile so we can understand this person, what type of needs they have, and maybe make decisions on how we can recommend help for them in the future. But then also, if let's say I'm working with this person for the last month and then I go on vacation, anyone else in the organization that pulls up this record can have a historical view of the assistance and activity that's been done with that person, and they can pick up right where I left off. So to the client in this case, or customer, if you're a business, they don't see a break in customer service, they don't see a break in service, they just are consistently, no matter who they're passed off to, are seeing great quality of assistance. So some of these CRMs in the industry are listed here. You have Pipedrive, Personify, Zoho, Money.com, HubSpot. They all do the same thing, customer relationship management. But, and I'm a little impartial too, there is one that rises above the rest, and that is Salesforce. Probably the most popular CRM, actually their stock exchange ticker is CRM, but they are the leader in the industry for good reason. And helped me get my start in the Salesforce industry. So when I was working as the IT manager for Maryland Nonprofits, the Association for Nonprofits in Maryland, we implemented Salesforce for our association. We actually implemented Salesforce with a management system built on top of the Salesforce platform. And I worked as what's known in the Salesforce ecosystem as an accidental admin. And this is where the company or organization hears about Salesforce. They're like, this is great, we need this, let's get it. And then you're going to set it up and they pick someone and you're the accidental admin. But for me, it was a great experience. In life, you can either learn by teaching or reading, or you can learn from doing. And it was a bit of both in this situation, but for me, it was great to be in this industry and then have to reach out to the resources that were available to help learn. Since then, I've, as Kimberly mentioned, worked with Enterprise Community Partners as the manager of administration there. And we're a nonprofit that advocates for affordable housing and builds affordable housing across the country. Also, I am the co-leader of the Baltimore Admin Group, and that's a network of admins and professionals in Salesforce throughout the Baltimore community. And we try to network and help each other learn and grow in the Salesforce ecosystem. Like Kimberly mentioned, I also work as a technology consultant with MKG Enterprise, helping nonprofits specifically to grow their technology ecosystem and work efficiently at a low cost. And when I'm not doing those things, I'm asleep. So, but Salesforce is really the leader in the industry for a reason. And let me tell you a few reasons why. So first, the name Salesforce is kind of, I describe it as misleading sometimes because the first thing you think of is selling. But after working with Salesforce for almost 10 years now, I've learned that it's better as a process automation system. So any processes that your business or organization has that you want to improve, you want to work more efficiently, you build it in Salesforce and let their automation tools literally do the work for you. And you can set it up where there's reminders that go out, emails that go out, really whatever your imagination can think of to better help your staff or people do their job. You can build that in Salesforce, which is unique from many other systems that focus solely on the relationship management component. But Salesforce is a holistic system for your business or organization. So like I mentioned, it's a flexible platform for customization. So any industry that you're a part of, it's an open platform for you to build what you need for your specific organization. Salesforce is also known for being highly integratable. And being the #1 CRM in the industry, all the other applications know that they have to find a way to integrate with Salesforce. So being a part of Salesforce, a lot of times you don't even have to look far to find an app or some easy way that other applications like MailChimp, like Constant Contact or other emailing tools, for example, you can integrate, use the data from Salesforce and use those tools to send out your messaging. Salesforce is known for data reporting and analysis. So in the example I was talking about earlier, you can look at the past history of your business or organization's activities and create reports, dashboards, create future predictions within Salesforce to help you make better guided decisions. Also security, a big component of configuring Salesforce is developing a security plan so that in some cases, people who are outside of your organization aren't able to access your data. And then in other cases, people in your organization that are in certain departments are only able to access the data that's important for them and that they should have access to. So Salesforce has a lot of tools built in for you to manage that. And also, one of the products that they're building more and more features into now is their Einstein prediction feature, which is their AI product. So now you're using the historical data that we talked about, and Salesforce has a built-in AI to make those predictions and recommendations for you. So now you're even more relying on Salesforce as a product to help guide your business and solutions. So one last scenario, consider this is a project that we worked on a few years ago with Maryland nonprofits, but they have a program, the Nonprofit Development Center, and this is for nonprofits that are less than 10 years old, have a 501c3 status, and are less than $750,000 in budget, which is thousands of nonprofits. And part of this program, we provided technical assistance, consulting, and other resources to help them get started. So that was the whole point. The problem is that without a system, this is a very manual process and time consuming. We had to have a process to collect all of the applications from these nonprofits, determine if they meet the criteria for the program, send out emails if they were accepted or if they weren't accepted, and then manage the process from there. With an Excel spreadsheet, this is a very time consuming and not efficient process. But with Salesforce, what you're able to do, you can automate the program decision. So we built the criteria for the program into the system, integrated with a forms application so that nonprofits could be sitting at their homes, fill out the form, send it in, and all that data gets sent into Salesforce, and the system does the thinking for us. The system sends the decision email automatically based on if they meet the criteria or not. So the nonprofits find out within moments. Salesforce will also categorize the application data so that we can then look back on who applied. We can see where they applied from. We can see what type of nonprofits they were that are applying. And then again, that can help us make decisions on if we want to send more marketing to this area in Maryland, or if we want to reach out to this particular type of nonprofit to get more engagement. And also provide access to our member community. Salesforce, like I mentioned, it's a platform, and you're also able to build in a online community with their Experience Cloud product. And we were able to pull this full solution together. And so instead of having to wait weeks for a decision or for entrance into the NDC program, people will find out within an instant and then have a login for their community access. Now, if you're a nonprofit in the room, the great news is that Salesforce is free. Salesforce is free for nonprofits. If you have an EIN, you can visit salesforce.org, and your first 10 subscriptions are completely free, part of the Power of Us program. And what they provide is an instance of Sales Cloud and or an instance of Nonprofit Success Pack, which includes Sales Cloud. But that's Salesforce's initiative to try and help nonprofits, give them tools to do their work more effectively. The caveat with this is, like I was saying, Salesforce is the leading CRM in the industry for a reason. And I would equate it to if you're driving cars, Salesforce is a Ferrari. And you can say, I've driven cars before, but if you get behind the wheel of a Ferrari for the first time, it can be dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. And in the same case, Salesforce is best used and utilized when you have an admin who has preferably certified, but who has learned how to configure Salesforce and can help you achieve your goals by configuring the system how you need it to be. So that leads me to our last portion of our discussion, is just explaining Salesforce as a career path, Salesforce as a job ecosystem. There's opportunities for admins, developers, for managers. This slide here was taken from Salesforce's trailhead.com, and we'll send out these links for resources later. But as you can see, this is on the website today, $86,000 median base salary for admins, 12,000 jobs posted in 2021, 148% job growth. That's some numbers you don't see in every industry. And I tell people all the time, if you're looking for a steady career with a great salary, great potential for growth, and a growing product that's being used, more and more companies and organizations are realizing that they need to get to know the people that they're working with and selling to better to be more effective. And also within our post-COVID world, a lot of things have gone online, a lot of things have gone remote, and Salesforce is a unique system where everything has been designed to be in the cloud, to be online. So you can access your data from everywhere, you can access your job from everywhere, you just need an internet connection. So if you're looking for a job switch or if you're interested, you can go to trailhead.com. Everything that you need to learn to pass the Salesforce certification is free, and on trailhead.com, Salesforce as a company is unique in putting this content on their website for free and allowing it to be accessible to everyone that wants to learn. And actually, this is what the trailhead.com website looks like. So that is all I had to share today, and I want to open it up for questions at this point.
Question. Oh, go ahead.
Would it be possible for you to show a demo of how it would work for a not-for-profit? Not necessarily now here, but if I were to join your admin group in Baltimore or something like that, would it be a possibility? Because I'm affiliated with a not-for-profit organization based in DC. I understand that the one that you showed is related to Montgomery County, not-for-profit development center, right?
Right.
But I'm curious to know if I know how it works, I might be able to think along the lines of, okay, this is something we might be able to make use of because
Right.
it's free. I'd like to seriously look into that.
I'll give you my business card after, and we can talk more. And it's Salesforce for everyone. That's why I was trying to get the point across. Any industry, if you have a plan of how to use it, it can work very well. But I'll definitely give you a business card. Great.
How does Salesforce handle, let's say, help desk work?
Great question. Salesforce actually has a built-in functionality called cases, and it's part of their service cloud, which if you're looking to purchase Salesforce, they have different clouds related to different products. So if you're wanting something to handle service desk requests, you would talk to someone about Service Cloud. But what you have is a module where you're able to intake whatever the service request is. There's a comment section where you can keep in contact with the person you're helping. There's a status bar so you can see what stage the case or the incident is in to see when it's how it's progressing. So there's an entire module for ticketing, for IT ticketing.
Have you seen any customers use that information for analyzing, let's say, service deficiencies, product deficiencies, opportunities for improvement, let's say, customer support requirements? In other words, what could the enterprise do to improve customer use of the tool, of the tools that the lives. That's sort of thing.
If you're asking kind of feedback, if you're able to manage feedback from the services you're doing in Salesforce, is that your question?
Well, It would seem to me that, that a help desk is going to get a lot of useful and interesting information about
Absolutely.
what works and what doesn't.
Right.
And, much of the time that information just falls from the forward years.
And such a great point. And with Salesforce being the flexible, customizable platform, like I spoke of, you can have that cases module and then build in what's called a custom object, which is whatever you type of data you want to collect, you can build in. I think of it as if you can imagine a file cabinet and you have a folder inside of a drawer that's an object that you want to collect data on. And so in your case, you're saying, I want to also know when a service request comes in, how that service request went, if there's things that can be improved, collect that and capture that information. And you can build that to work alongside the cases module in Salesforce. So the answer is yes. And any other ideas that you may have for how you want to better manage your data, you can absolutely build that with them. Okay, great.
Yeah, I have a few questions.
Sure.
We have a screenshot of some screens. And also, what are the different components? Because for example, enterprise resource systems. I have some degree of familiarity with that, I have some idea. But when it comes to these, what are like different components?
Can you reframe your questions?
Okay, for example, PVSoft.
Mhm.
You have HR, Oracle financials, Oracle, it has financials, the HR related, these are different modules.
Mhm.
In CRM, we have different modules. Yes, I mean, what are some modules?
So from understanding your question, it's kind of what comes out of the box with Salesforce.
Yeah.
Standard. So in Salesforce, you'll have what's called standard objects and then custom objects, like I just mentioned. So the standard objects are going to be accounts contacts, which is managing the people and organizations or company that you're working with. Then you'll have what's called leads and opportunities, which are managing the people that you may start working with or the people that you're engaging in business with. And then some of the other day-to-day tools you can use with your work are the to-do module, calendar module, chatter, which is an internal kind of intranet for Salesforce. Your colleagues can all comment with each other within the system, and a few others. But to your question, there wouldn't be a finance specific module in Salesforce
HR module.
for HR, but if you have, for example, if you need that specific functionality, Salesforce being a platform, many companies have built apps that are specifically for HR and for finance. So then you would go to what's called the app exchange on Salesforce and look for an app that's built on top of the Salesforce platform that will meet your needs. So if it's not in Salesforce standard functionality, usually there's an app that is available that can meet that goal, or if you have the ability, you can build it custom. A lot of options.
Okay. Have you seen a situation where this was integrated with PeopleSoft or some other enterprise resource?
Actually, where I'm working right now, we were integrated with PeopleSoft and actually moved to Workday, but it's helpful. But when you have your entire organization within Salesforce, it's helpful for everyone to be able to come to that one system and access all the data.
So do you know whether Montgomery College or somewhere in Baltimore, anybody is offering this training?
Training to
Salesforce admin?
Salesforce, absolutely. So there's, and again, when I get your information, I can send you some more links, but there's online trainings, there's, if you're getting connected with the Salesforce community groups, like I was mentioning, there's a group for Baltimore that I'm a part of, there's a group for Columbia, there's groups definitely in DC. I'd have to check for Montgomery County, but there's the good thing about Salesforce is anyone that I've come in contact in the ecosystem, if you explain, I want to learn, I want more information, they're always helpful to point you in the direction. And there's a lot of resources out there, so there's a lot of opportunity for training and learning. But another question?
Yeah, so I have just one, sorry, Salesforce is a good program. 10 years ago, and I'm gonna, as you spike.
That's good.
Okay, what I mean by that, when my company, when we implemented it, that was, it was great,
Yeah,
but it's been lately, there's a lot of stuff like if I'm customize,
Mhm.
those are the things we need to work on as well. The app. So or basically what's gonna be done so that on the user end, because I have like IT background, so always looking on the user end. What's being done, or if at all, to make it more user friendly?
so, to your point, Salesforce has changed a lot since 10 years ago. And even since 10 years ago, they were on what's called classic UI, and they moved to Lightning, which is the more user-friendly version.
Yeah.
So since then, I will honestly say they made a lot of improvements to making it and have a focus of making it more user-friendly and for the people using it for data, but also for the app and giving us tools to configure the system better. I will say, to the point about the Ferrari, if you don't have someone helping you set it up, or have someone that isn't helping you set it up in the best way, it can become a web that's hard to untangle sometimes. So it's really important to work with a great partner. But I will say they've done a lot to try and make improvements.
But they did, it's just more work needs to be done.
Yeah, and it's not the fastest sometimes. Yeah. But
We had a question in the chat. Can you give an example of a higher education provider and how they currently leverage this technology?
I can. I can't name just because I can't remember the college, but I was actually at a conference and they were presenting on how they use Salesforce, kind of in a similar way with how I was explaining with the NDC application process and their admissions process. They use Salesforce to manage all of the people applying, manage how they want to categorize those students and what classes might be best for them. And Salesforce even has, I'm pretty sure, an education cloud, which means that they have standard modules that they've built for that industry. They have different clouds, healthcare cloud, a government cloud, and I believe an education cloud, where knowing that certain industries have certain needs, they build their product out of the box to be helpful for those industries. So there's more that can be said about how Salesforce helps with education or in educational institutions, but I have seen it before.
We had a question.
I think the answer from at the University of Maryland.
Oh, okay,
Salesforce implementation.
okay.
My question to you is there partnerships for Montgomery College to do or develop training curriculums? Right, I know you have online training, like I'm a big fan of the images. I think it's like one of the cool ones of all the technologies I've used.
All right.
And I say that because I teach at the workforce development side, and most often students really come there to learn the technology, but they're also wanting to gain like, hey Henry, can you tell me more about how the workforce, like the job that you're teaching me, really apply to getting that knowledge? And so I'm trying to think of ways to kind of help Salesforce market and train developers and administrators. Just wondering if Salesforce has something that a template that a Montgomery College or any institution, education institution you guys partner with. Can you kind of create like a curriculum template, kind of help them, create classwork and stuff like that?
Great question. My first thing comes to mind is Salesforce has classes. It's usually like a 5-day boot camp, so they try and cram it all in. But they have classes that teach the different certification levels, admin, advanced admin, and so on and so forth. But I totally agree with you. And one of the reasons I was excited to come speak here is hopefully being able to speak with students that have aspirations to get into technology, but it's not a specific curriculum in a lot of education, or colleges right now. And it should be, because I've seen it over and over, people who are doing one thing and switch to a totally different career. I have a friend who used to drive trucks and have to drive all across the country and be away from his family. And he decided to make the switch and got on Trailhead, learned what he needs to learn, got certified. And I was working with him also to, because with a lot of industries, they want people that have experience and have the certification there. But what I tell a lot of people is, what me as an employer, I want to know is that you know what you're doing and what you're talking about. And Salesforce is great, where you can go into Trailhead and get creative, create the most complex thing that you want to without having a job. But if you come to an employer and you're describing what you've done, they should be able to understand that you know what you're talking about. And so I totally agree with you. And if you were looking for resources to try and create that kind of curriculum at Salesforce, the company doesn't have that. The Salesforce community definitely does, because there's trainings going on all throughout the year in the community group. And again, I can give you my information, and hopefully I hope something like that is created. So I think that's great for.
I think it's sorry to, I think it has to. It's not about, I mean, because CRM, it's kind of like, when you go to school, you learn how to write, right?
Right.
This is kind of like, in a sense, learning how to write or learning how to speak. So again, this is just an opinion. I think if you push definitely to, but basically on the high school or middle school.
It's,
Somehow.
yeah, it's the way a lot of companies are doing business now. And you'll either most likely have to work with the CRM in your job because that's what the company is using, or you could be on the other side and be configuring it for companies. And I use the analogy, if you've ever heard the story of someone had a machine that broke and the mechanic came in and he took out his hammer, hit one spot on the machine, and then said, okay, that'll be $1,000. And they're like, $1,000 for one spot, but you have to know where to hit the hammer. And that's what Salesforce is. It's a big system, and being an administrator, you know how to work that system that services the entire company. So you're a very important person. So it's a great industry to get into. It's very accessible to learn, and they need to have a curriculum for it. Sure.
I have a question. COVID, in the last 2.25 years, has really turned both the economy on its head. How you do work? Tons of people now are working from home,
Right.
and yet you have the big technology companies such as Facebook. You have even Microsoft, other companies just laying off tens and tens of hundreds of employees.
That's true.
Now, whoever you talk to, you're trying to get a hold of whether it be a hiring manager or a departmental manager in charge of something that you're interested in. Each person that you're trying to get to has a vested interest, that's what it's called, vested interest in what they do. How do you get to the proper department, to the proper people? Because, for instance, if you call a company, we'll call and talk to HR, and you're talking to the wrong people. I was today talking to Baltimore to the state highway administration. And I'm talking to an intern. She's new. She doesn't know anything. And we easily could have directed me to who I need to talk with. There's a new president or new director. Or what usually tells me was the director of 8 years at Metro. He's now been named the state director of Westmore.
Okay.
And it's a transition. And I want to put sensors into it. People are worried about the future. You see new things such as electric cars versus the fossil fuel vehicles. For instance, Tesla a day ago just said they're going to allow others, different manufacturers, to use their equipment, their chargers from July. So is this a problem getting, because people do have a vested interest to get to the appropriate people that you would need to talk to get obviously investments, to get people to work with you. It's a whole big ball of wax and you're trying to put it together. And as an individual, you know, a lot of people have worked in factories or worked in companies right there in the area. You have an IH, FDA, but that's of course medical. Just north of here, you've got Gaithersburg, and it's a big hub for healthcare, pharmaceuticals and such. Right. How do you get through to that, and what your seeing are in work? Is it, in other words, flexible enough?
It's definitely flexible enough for whatever solution you need to do. Salesforce is built for flexibility, so you can build and solution whatever you need to. The question is how, which that's a complicated situation you're describing. So yeah, it would take some time to figure that out. But yeah, thanks for your question. Any other questions?
Will you be here for some more time after this?
Oh yeah, I'll be prepared to.
Okay.
I have one question in the chat.
Sure.
What advice would you give for anyone starting their career in Salesforce?
Great question. I would find your local Salesforce community group. And what you can do is visit Trailblazer community groups.
Yeah, the link is in the chat.
Oh, great. Yeah, trailblazercommunitygroups.com, and you can, it should find your location and it'll show you what community groups are happening close to you. And also now in our post-COVID world, everything's remote. So I've joined meetings from London. You can go wherever. So definitely get connected with your local community group. And even if it's, you know, we're in Baltimore, get connected with someone in the ecosystem, and that's the beginning. And then just be open to everything that happens next. I tell people that want to get into Salesforce, if you decide for this month or the next 2 months, I'm going to learn Salesforce and I'm going to work at it, you know, 3 to 5 times a week and study what information is available and free, you will learn Salesforce because it's all available. You just have to decide you want to do it. So yeah, that would be my advice to them.
Thank you. We are, oh, there's one, you got the last question. Yes.
How secure is my data when I join that?
Very secure.
Yeah.
Oh, Salesforce, I mean, just like a lot of other big companies, they have their data servers tucked in a mountain somewhere where no one has access to. So, and Salesforce, they promote that trust and security is one of their top values. So they have actually a website where you can at any time check the your ID, your org's ID, and check the status, make sure that everything is still up and running and secure. You can check the status of your org on their trust website, but that's the answer.
Well, thank you. We are right on time at 1 o'clock. Thank you all for coming this afternoon and for engaging with us and asking wonderful questions. Thank you to our virtual guests. We had about 18, 19 join us online as well. So thank you for joining us. Jabari, thank you for imparting your wisdom on us about Salesforce and CRMs and how they work. And as we've heard, this is part of how we operate in the world. So it's important information. I also have a token of appreciation for you. Thank you for being our speaker.
Thank you so much.
See you again soon. For those I know in the chat, you've gotten a link. For those of you here in the hub, there's a QR code here on the screen. If you could Scan that. We would love your feedback about this workshop, this session. Tell us anything else that you would like to hear about or see happen in the hub. So thank you. After you do that, lunch is right across the way, sandwiches and salads for lunch. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
I won't